Hey everybody, I'm Joe Kellinger. I'm a real estate investor and entrepreneur, and we put these videos together every week to give you all the tips and insights from my experience over the last several years. So make sure you tune in and subscribe, and thank you. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. As you know, we're kind of going through some changes in the real estate market. So I've thought to myself, which I think to myself often, if I was a property owner, what would I be looking for in a commercial agent?
Okay.
What do you think about that one? Well, that was a pretty good one.
Actually, I think it's a great one for several reasons.
Hold on,
I'm not even going to talk about self though.
Yeah. You guys probably remember George. George Pino is a commercial broker international CEO in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
It's something that I really think, to go out and find a really good broker right now is very important. You need somebody that can market your property. If I'm from the owner's perspective, what should I be looking for in a really good commercial broker that's going to get my property out there? Let's say I'm retail. I've got some mid-block stuff coming up that I'm really nervous about. What am I calling up? What am I asking?
Okay. Well, a couple things I would actually really look for in a commercial real estate agent, and I love that you asked that because a lot of people don't think about this.
Yeah, think any agent can do it.
Think any agent can do it. Real estate is real estate, that the experience or whatnot. And really, a lot of commercial real estate agents really start bringing on a little bit more of an advisory capacity in keeping track of what's going on. I've heard from clients before that ended up, they weren't clients at the time, but they ended up being my clients when they were, they said, well, why do I need a real estate agent to negotiate my lease? I've negotiated a dozen leases in my career. And my response was, that's a bad month for me. Okay. We've negotiated hundreds of leases. So even, and to this day, even then, I still am learning.
Sure.
I've had this great career, 30 years, and, if I haven't been able to adapt and learn new things, then I wouldn't have had as long of a career. And I think really what a commercial owner should be looking for in a commercial real estate agent is one that understands the changing times, the adaptive, what's going on, what's happening. How can we position that property for its maximum potential? If you just look for an agent to put it on a commercial listing website or, do it yourself. Really, it's the agent that can see outside the box, bring value to that client by saying, here's the opportunity. It may not be retail. It could be some other trending aspect, whether it's entertainment or hospitality. There was axe throwing a few years ago, which I don't know if I would have gotten into, but that was one of the things. Now, for some of the larger big box things, they have aerial drone racing and drones and stuff. But at the same time, what you want to look at is maybe it's repositioning that property from retail to something more like office or creative office. What can you optimize for that, or medical space? A lot of times, so you're saying some retail can be medical.
Right. So you're saying when you're interviewing an agent, you want to have them come up with these ideas, right? They should come up with these ideas.
They should know what is needed in the market right now, and especially that sub-market. They should understand what's in demand, who's looking. You want to get a company that does both, tenant representation as well as landlord representation, because they're listening and hearing from both sides of the street, so to speak, of what is going on, what's happening. So they're hearing from the tenant side, from their agents representing tenants, that, this is what's out there, this is what they're looking for, this is what their expectations are. And they're also working with the landlords, so they're hearing on the landlords and ownership side, well, here's what's happening to us.
Right.
And this is what
That's a very good point.
And this is what we've had to give up in concessions.
Right.
This is, because the face rate on a lease is just that. It's a face rate.
Right.
It's not the whole body of the lease. A lot of times there are many concessions equivalent for, 10 to 20% of the lease value.
Right.
So, that has to be taken into consideration. What is the going market?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, typically when you're interviewing an agent, you want to hear, how are you going to market my property?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to take it one step further right now and say, how do you think you're going to get this leased out?
Yeah,
so
absolutely. How do you think you're going to get leased out? What do you see happening in the future? For instance, in California right now, there's Prop 15 that's on the ballot, which is going to, if it passes, it's going to be a split tax roll in the sense that commercial properties can be reassessed, I should say, every single year. Mm-hmm. Well, how does that affect the commercial landlord then? And a lot of people haven't thought of this. And as a broker, they should be thinking, you know what? This is not your day-to-day thing. I got a plan for the future. How am I going to protect my client so that if this does get passed, they are as minimally impacted, but at the same time, the tenant, who's going to probably bear the brunt of it,
through the
pass-throughs and things like that. But at the same time, though, they want to make sure that the tenant can still afford a huge increase in property taxes. So this should all be a factor of when they come up with rental rates, what they're doing in negotiating the lease, which is one of the key things.
See, this is why I have you on. All this insight. I don't think about it all the time. So, all right. So property owners, when you are out there, you're looking for an agent. I mean, make sure you're finding somebody that really does bring a value to you. You're paying them a nice fee. So make sure you find somebody that they're not just going to sit down and talk to you how they're going to market it. If they're just going to put it in the websites, that's really not going to do you any good. There's going to be more properties coming on the market. It gets to be a big pond, and you're going to be a small fish. Find somebody that'll really get your property out there. They should be doing social. They should be doing email blast. And they sure better be doing cold calls to potential tenants. So did I miss anything?
One of the key things that has worked really well for us is actually reaching out to the council members and not just the council members, but the Chamber of Commerce.
Yep.
They give some great advice of who they want to see in, which makes it easier to get approved. Mm-hmm. But also they give some pretty good referrals too from people that are trying to open up. They know who's there because a lot of times those businesses approach those the local municipalities as well as the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, I always thought it was brilliant that you guys do that, but I just didn't know if you really want to put that out there. So, okay, if you guys have questions for myself or for George Pino, I will put George's information at the bottom of this video. Thank you for tuning in, and if you haven't done so at this point, subscribe, please. George, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll be back again next week. Thank you.